Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. Thanks for joining me on this Friday. I'm joined also on this Friday by Ray Ora.
Fire Nico.
Jonathan Voico.
Wait, what day is it? Friday.
Oh. And of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics that we got lined up. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/John Campea/tip. Send it in before the end of the show, and we'll get around to answering in the second part of the show. But the good part about this tip link is that it's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to our show a little bit later on our podcast feed, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching this video a little bit later in the day when we're not live, you can still send in a question or a topic. And if you do when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on our next episode. All right, guys, with that down, let's get things started with this. Guys, May 2nd is getting closer and closer, and that is, of course, the release date of Thunderbolts. This is, easily it's the most anticipated Marvel film I've had since Deadpool and Wolverine, but that was only 2 movies ago.
Yeah.
But, looking forward into the year, it was weird. We had the Captain America movie coming, Thunderbolts, and a Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. And I've been saying, oddly enough, the Thunderbolts movie is the one I've been most excited about. We've been hearing some chatter about that it's really good, all that kind of stuff. I'm excited about it. Well, they've now got their tracking numbers for what they think Thunderbolts is going to make on its opening weekend. According to the Hollywood Reporter, they're saying Thunderbolts is tracking for a $70 million opening. They wrote the following. It's a virtual given that the 2025 summer box office will get off to a bigger start than last year when Marvel's Thunderbolts flies into theaters over the first weekend of May. However, the anti-hero comic book pick still has its work cut out for it. According to tracking, the tentpole is headed for a domestic debut in the $63 million to $77 million range, with a target number of $70 million. While a fair number in and of itself, that's on the lower end for a Marvel Cinematic Universe title opening in summer. All right. Here's what I'll say about this. If this movie makes $70 million opening weekend, they should pop bottles of champagne all over the Disney lot. Because, listen, I'm excited for this movie. I'm dying to see it. I cannot wait for Thunderbolts. But there's a few things you got to keep into consideration. Number one, we're coming off of a fairly weak Marvel movie with Captain America: Brave New World. Number two, these are all B-list characters. At best, B-list. Some, you could say, C-list. Mm-hmm. Actually, Mark W. in the live chat just put it well. It's the Temu Avengers. It's the Temu of Avengers. And I think he's right about that. Listen, nobody outside of comic book fans has ever heard of The Void. Only people who have watched a couple of things would even know who half the characters in the movie are. Yeah, we had Yelena in Hawkeye. Uh-huh. And the Black Widow movie, which is okay. And listen, I'm not trash talking on Florence Pugh. Love Florence Pugh. I think she's going to be a banger. And I think the movie's going to be awesome. I'm just being honest here. I think $70 million is optimistic. Now, I believe that this movie can make good money and have legs. We've seen a number, particularly of Disney projects, have come out, have a mediocre opening, and then have good legs. I think Thunderbolts, which has a pretty modest budget compared to a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I think it can be profitable. I think it can be a hit. I'm just saying, I don't know that it can make much money until word of mouth gets out there that it's really good. Because, look, again, all due respect to Florence Pugh and Sebastian Stan, but neither, and I love them both, but neither of them are big A-list stars. None of the characters have been heavily heavily featured in the MCU up to this point. I think probably a lot of people at home, average moviegoers watching the trailers, don't even know who half the people in the trailer are. Again, I believe this movie's going to be great, and I believe it will do well in the long run. I'm just saying, I think $70 million is a little optimistic. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we've had a chance to see some of Marvel's top tier characters, actually, like Captain America, Brave New World, have their shine. I think it's good that we have these lower tier characters have a chance to, win the hearts of the audiences. I actually think the actors involved in this movie are actually top tier actors. I actually think like David Harbour, Florence
But he's
Pugh.
not a house. He's not.
No,
a
they're not.
household
They're
name,
not. They're
right?
not. I meant
They're all great actors.
Yeah, great acting. I mean, so that's a positive. I mean, I would have never seen Ant-Man if Paul Rudd wasn't Ant-Man.
Right.
This movie, I think for me at least, I have the benefit of actually liking these mid-tier characters as well as the people playing them. So it's going to be. I'm excited for this movie just for that fact. And then you throw in a character I thought I'd never see on the big screen, the Sentry, which is my favorite Marvel character. If anyone doesn't know that.
Now.
And so I'm looking forward to this. I'm a little worried that what's presented to the general movie going audience, it looks like it'll probably look like, oh, this is not where's Captain America or where's
And that is going to be it for a lot
That's
of
gonna
the
be a
average
big
movie going
problem. Yeah.
audience. They're going to look at this. I mean, just like they looked at even Captain America: Brave New World, and it didn't matter if it was Sam or Bucky. If you made either Sam or Bucky Captain America, it wouldn't matter. They would just look at it and say, well, wait a minute, that's not Captain America.
Yeah.
And now you're coming into this movie.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you've got a Walmart Captain America.
It's like a back-to-back.
You've got, again, none of that is to say that I don't think the movie's going to be great. And none of that is to say that I don't think it can be a profitable movie. 400, 500, 600 million dollars. I'm just saying to get to that, it's going to take big positive word of mouth and big buzz. And you can't just have a big result on an opening weekend without that first. And so, again, I'm not saying this movie's going to make 30 million opening weekend. I'm just saying I think 70 is optimistic. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It is, after all, still an MCU movie. And the trailers have been great. So it's possible it could hit 70. I'm just saying I think that's a little bit optimistic.
Well,
but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, definitely. To me, it's like, to quote the Hulk, I see this as an absolute win.
What's that?
I see this as an absolute win, to quote the Hulk, I mean, the article goes on to say, well, it's less than previous Marvel outings. Well, previous Marvel outings have been like skyrocketing. I mean, it's hard to compare current Marvel fare with previous Marvel movies and their openings. I mean, there's an uphill battle going on here, but yeah. I think if you hit 70, and I think there's a possibility the Monday after, one of our headlines may be like Thunderbolts outperforms and hits 80.
Sure, it's possible. 100%.
So,
and I hope for it. It's just, but also, I think you're right. It is an absolute win. If this movie can hit 70 million, look, there are already people typing up, the brave keyboard warriors typing up how Thunderbolts is a failure. Well, Deadpool and Wolverine made 200 million. Well, yeah, but that's Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's my point.
This is Thunderbolts. B and C list characters they're pulling down off the shelf.
Yeah,
that most moviegoers have never heard of.
Yeah.
If they can make 70 million, which again, I am dubious that they can do that.
Yeah.
I think it's optimistic. But if they can, you pop bottles if you're Disney.
And what I'm really hoping to see is this is like a Guardians where you get repeat attendance.
Yes,
it's fun.
That's what they're hoping.
It's fun. It's funny.
I don't remember, but this was delayed too, and there's reshoots with this one. Am I wrong?
Well, every single Marvel movie has reshoots.
But
that's planned.
But one where it was like, like it was finished. Oh yeah, okay. Never mind.
No, there was no like, oh no, there's a problem with this film. Let's reshoot.
Right, okay.
But remember, every single Marvel movie, even before they start shooting, they plan dates for reshoots just for when they have new ideas or whatever. So Thunderbolts was no different. But anyway, we'll see how much it can make. Guys, question is for you. How much are you looking forward to Thunderbolts? Maybe not much at all. Maybe, through the roof like me. But how much money do you think it can actually make opening weekend? I mean, a lot of people have never even heard of these characters. I think it can do well in the long term if it's great, but we'll see. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Man, it was back around the year 2000 when a lot of North American movie-going audiences for the first time decided to go see a subtitled Asian film when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the movie that competed with Titanic. I believe it was up against Titanic for Best Picture. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out and...
No, it came out. That was later. I got to see what it was compared. Titanic was 97. And
oh, was it 97?
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, maybe it was... maybe it was Gladiator.
It was Gladiator.
It was Gladiator. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. I knew it was one of those two.
And Traffic, and Almost Famous.
Right, but it was because Gladiator won that year. But it introduced the North American audience to a certain gentleman by the name of Chow Yun-fat.
Yeah.
Introduced a lot of the audience to this actress who had been around a little while already, named Michelle Yeoh, now Academy Award-winning Michelle Yeoh.
Heard of her.
And it had, who I believe, one of the most stunningly beautiful actresses in the history of Hollywood, or anywhere on the globe, Zhang Ziyi, or as sometimes they say, Ziyi Zhang, who was in that. Also in Rush Hour 2, I believe. 2 or 3 that Zhang Ziyi was in. Anyway, so the movie's a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. I love it. Well, now, according to IndieWire, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon series is in the works for Amazon Prime. As Sony Pictures TV is in development with the series based on the books that inspired Ang Lee's 2000, I'm not even sure how to pronounce this, wuxia film? Anyway, I always pronounce it differently. New series is in the works based on the books that inspired Ang Lee's 2000 classic Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. An individual with knowledge of the project told IndieWire. The series is in development from Sony Pictures Television and is intended for release via Amazon Prime Video. Though Amazon has been good about mining the IP from the MGM library, it was Sony Pictures Classics that originally released Lee's film. Now, they give a little bit of a synopsis down here. It reads the following. Amidst stunning landscapes and spectacular action, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon follows Shu Lin and Mu Bai, two star-crossed warriors, as they struggle between forbidden love and the pull of modernity. Caught between preserving their way of life or embracing a future together, based on the Crane Iron Pentology book series by Wang Du-Lu. So, I mean, look, I don't think at all that this would be in development were it not for a little show called Shogun. I think Shogun kind of showed that there would be a demand for like period piece Asian storytelling. And I mean, you even go back to like recent shows like Warrior. How good was Warrior?
Right.
Warrior was so good. So, I mean, if they can make this great, and by the way, little side note in the next paragraph starts off with the greatest showrunner of all time. Ronald D. Moore is also the executive producer.
George Lucas stand-in.
Yes. Ronald D. Moore, who first cut his teeth on Star Trek The Next Generation, then went on to create and showrun the greatest television show of all time, Battlestar Galactica, did the highly critically acclaimed and beloved show For All Mankind.
Yeah.
And he is the showrunner for the upcoming Amazon series God of War. And since he's in-house over at Amazon too, sure, why not give him... Now, it needs to be noted, he's not the showrunner of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but even having him just on as an executive producer is pretty cool. Tell you what, I love this. I love this. I think this is incredible. There's a lot of source material to go with this. I think they can make a great, dramatic, exciting... Listen, here's what the potential of Crouching Tiger is. Think Shogun crossed with Warrior. The great drama and character and narrative of Shogun, the great action of Warrior. If you can merge those two, you could have a huge. Now, you do it badly, it's going to really suck. But
Yeah.
you do this, a show like this, even close to its potential, this could be a massive win for Amazon and a massive win for fans. Sign me up. I can't wait for this. I think this is great news. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Amazon is partnering up with Sony TV, and they're bringing us a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon series. I love the sounds of it. You got Ronald D. Moore as an executive producer. What do you think about that? Maybe you never saw the original Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you haven't, you really should. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. You know, in movie circles for a long time, whenever the topic of the Academy Awards comes up, one of the things that always comes up is people asking, when are we going to get a stunts category at the Oscars? It's been going all the way back to the movie blog days, like 15 years ago. I remember people writing in asking questions. When do you think we're going to get a stunts category? Now, I've always said that I think the reason, and I'm sure I'm right about this, the reason we haven't got one is because it's an almost impossible one to actually judge. Because unless you're actually there on set, you don't know what was a stunt. What was a stunt? What was a camera trick? What was CGI? What was something that looked great on screen but actually wasn't that big of a deal? Like with screenplay, you just got to watch the movie and you know the screenplay. With acting, you just got to watch the movie. With costume design, you just got to watch the movie. With set decor, you just got to watch the movie. With hair and makeup, you just got to watch the movie. With score, you just got to listen to the movie. But stunts was going to be an incredibly difficult thing because you'd have a voting body that wouldn't even know what it is they're voting on. That's why I don't think they've had it up until now. But today is a new day.
New day?
A new dawn. It's come out on the world of the Academy Awards.
A red day. Oh, sorry.
Deadline is reporting that the Oscars finally give stunts their day and will add a category beginning in 2027. By the way, Deadline's headline is wrong. It is not 2027, it is 2028. The Oscars in 2028 will be the first Oscars to have the Academy Award. This is what they write. Said the Oscars are finally recognizing stunts with a new category, something long desired by stunt people but never realized until now. The Board of Governors of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences said Thursday that they are creating an annual competitive Academy Award for achievement in stunt design, beginning with the 100th Academy Award films for 4 films released in 2027. So movies that come out in 2027 will be eligible for this new achievement in stunt design for the Oscars that will be held in early 2028. The 100th Academy Awards. Now, some people may ask, and it would be understandable, wait a minute, we've been waiting for a stunt category forever. You decided that you're going to have the category. You've even named the category. Well, why do we got to wait 3 more years? Why do we got to wait 3 years? I'll tell you why. It doesn't say this in any of the articles, but I'll tell you why. The reason they've given themselves 3 years is they've got to figure out how to do this. They simply got to figure out how to do it. Because again, the same problem still persists that they don't have any idea how this is going to be voted on. What are the parameters going to be? What are the rules going to be? What makes something a stunt and not? If a stunt has CGI in it, is it still a stunt? If a stunt is mostly a camera trick sort of thing, is it still a stunt? If there's not actually a guy in the car that gets flipped over and rolled, is that a stunt? And then most importantly, it's going to be the problem that they've always faced, which is, how does the average Academy voter even know what was a stunt and what was not? How do they even know what it is they're voting on? Again, unless you're on set, like, I even think people who watched Fall Guy last year, the Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling film Fall Guy, which was fantastic. I loved that movie. I thought it was really fun. But even watching that movie, we as the audience didn't even understand a quarter of what went into those stunts until they played the sizzle reel at the end of the movie over the credits. You guys remember that? Like while the credits are going, they showed all the behind the scenes of the stunts. Like, it's not until you sit and watch that you even go, wow, that's what went into that? And that's going to be the problem for the Academy. Now, what a lot of people will then say they should do, oh, well, that's easy. Just have every movie that wants to submit itself for consideration for stunt work put together like a 15 to 20 minute like thing and send that out to the Academy voters.
So then then it's best marketing for your...
But then it's best, and no other category needs that.
Right.
Best screenplay doesn't need to put together. And now you're giving the Academy voters homework on top of watching the film.
Yeah.
You're giving them homework. It ain't going to happen. and again, that would make it literally the only category where the Academy voters would have to do extra homework. So that doesn't work. So again, they're doing it. But again, I think the reason they've given themselves 3 years to do it is specifically because they need 3 years to figure this out. And by the way, I'm going to say this, and this isn't going to be popular, but maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't. I think at least for the first couple of years, this won't be a part of the main Oscar broadcast.
Yeah, I think it's technicals.
Yep. I think this will be one of, you know how during the Oscars they go, a few weeks ago, we held the other Academy thing where these Oscars were given out, right? Blah, 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 blah.
There's a lot more Oscars than the categories.
Yeah, a lot of the technical awards, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going to put it to start. And hey, it's still an Oscar, still counts as much as any other Oscar, but I have a feeling they're going to probably put it there. I don't know that for a fact. That's just my guess. Because they recently launched a new category for Best Achievement in Casting.
Right.
And I don't think they put that on the main show, did they?
No, it was not. And
so they created that category, but put it off on the other evening.
I think what they'll do is it'll be in the technicals, but every year, because it is very showy, they will put together a featurette of the nominees and shots from the films that they did, and then the winners and the presentation and all that, and that'll be entertaining for the viewers at home to see that. A featurette of the technical section.
By the way, some people in the live chat have give us the heads up that one of the reasons we didn't see the best casting is because they didn't start it yet this year. Starts next year. Again, I don't know if they're going to put it on part of the main broadcast show, if they're going to put it off on the technical things, but thank you for the update on that.
I think the main important thing is just the recognition right here.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's the number one, no matter what part of the show, as long as this is included into filmmaking and awarding, the parts of a film, I think it's a big deal to the people who risk their lives 100%. for this.
And that's what the stunt community has always really just been after, is the acknowledgement, right?
That they exist,
that they're there, and stunt work has historic. You go all the way back to the silent films in black and white. Stunt work was always a key important part of filmmaking. Now, here's where the other part of I think this is going to become a bit of a hot spot for debate. Who gets nominated? It's not the actual stuntmen. The award is called Best Achievement in Stunt Design.
Oh, right. So you're saying like the coordinator maybe, or
probably
something, or
like
the stunt people. That's
either the second unit director, who often does a lot of the stunt work, or the specific stunt coordinator.
That makes my brain hurt. I'll let you guys decide that.
So yeah, you can have 20 or 30 stunt performers, but they're not getting the award. It's probably going to be the stunt. Again, it's a start. It's at least acknowledging the work and the dedication and the contribution that the community of stunts has given to Hollywood for over 100 years. So I don't know if it's going to make everybody happy, but I think at least it's a start. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They have now made it official. They are making Best Achievement in Stunt Design an actual category for the Academy Awards. Now, whether or not it'll be part of the main broadcast, part of the technical awards nights, I don't know. I don't even think that part's all that important. Maybe the bigger discussion is going to be, should there be multiple stunt categories? Best stunt design, best stunt performer. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The other day we did a story on the show. We don't like to talk about world events and politics, but every once in a while, those things will cross over and have massive implications on the world of movies. And so we talked about the fact that there was a report going around that China was considering either reducing or eliminating American films from being played in China. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a fairly big deal because China is the second biggest movie market in the world. Not as big as the United States, North American market, I should say, but a pretty significant player, right? Well, now it's official. According to the Hollywood Reporter, China is going to reduce, they didn't say eliminate yet, but they are going to reduce imports of Hollywood films as the trade war escalates. The China Film Administration said it would moderately reduce the number of American films the country imports in response to Donald Trump's tariffs. By the way, that 1 year where they had the massive reduction,
right,
they used the same terminology, moderately reduce. Anyway, the article writes the following. Said it's official. China is set to reduce the number of Hollywood films it imports in response to an escalating tariff war with the U.S. and will look to increase film imports from other countries. Now, it should be noted, I did a complete editorial once. You can look it up on our YouTube channel on understanding the Chinese market and foreign films playing there. It should be noted that China has, for a long time, had the opposite of a quota? A restriction.
Yeah.
On the number of foreign films allowed into the country each year. They've always had a restriction. Not super stringent, but a restriction nonetheless. On American films, Indian films, Korean films, whatever. They've had a limit in place about how many foreign films every year can come in, a cap, if you will, and play in China every year. It should be noted in this paragraph, though, they're not talking about reducing the number of foreign films, just American films, because as it says here, they're looking to reduce the number of Hollywood imports, but will look to increase film imports from other countries.
Wow.
So they're still going to bring in Bollywood films. They don't play a lot of Bollywood in China, but still. Maybe some Korean films, other countries, who knows? Maybe even some French cinema. Now, look, I said this when we were talking about the possibility of this a week or two ago, that I don't think this would be a death blow at all for the industry, but it will force Hollywood and the U.S. film market to have to tighten the purse strings a bit. Because here's the thing. A lot of movies, particularly like some MCU movies, have still made massive. There have been a couple of MCU films that have joined the $1 billion club without ever playing in China. Right? So clearly it's not a death blow.
No.
But that Chinese market can add $30 million to a film's total.
Sure.
And it's not add $100 million to a film's total. Could add $12 million to it. That's all money that studios can then use and go ahead and turn around and parlay into financing other films. Smaller films even. Now, you've often heard it said, like, Marvel is the engine that drives the financial reliability of smaller films under the Disney banners to actually get made. So while I don't think it's a death blow, I think it will be something that is a disruptor. And by the way, as we've seen tariffs continue to escalate and escalate, what they're starting off here calling a moderate reduction in American films to be allowed in could very quickly become banned. American films banned in China. Again, I don't think that's a death blow, but it would be a disruption to the American film industry and understanding what films can get made and what films can't get made because they're going to have less money to do it. So it's an interesting thing that we should keep our eyes on here and see how this develops. Again, starting with, we got to see how much, what does moderately mean? Does that mean that Thunderbolts won't get to play? We were just talking about Thunderbolts can still do pretty well, but if all of a sudden it's missing out on the second biggest film market in the world,
right,
that's going to lower how much money it makes. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see the actual practical ramifications of this and see how it works itself out. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It's now official. China is reducing, putting a restriction, an additional cap if you will, on the number of American films that will be allowed to play there, while they're going to open up to even more foreign films from other countries to come in. It could become a complete ban at some point. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this, shall we? You know, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of touch on this for a minute. You know, as every day that I wake up as a film fan, I'm often asking myself several questions. Like, there are several burning questions I feel like we always have as film fans surrounding the movie industry and what's going on in the industry. And what can we, you know, see happening, not see happening, all that kind of stuff. So I thought it would be good for us today to take just a moment and take a look at what are the burning questions that we have coming up here in the world of movies. What are the 10 burning questions? I think this is something we can revisit every few weeks. What are the 10 burning questions we have right now as film fans? The real dominant ones that are kind of dominating the front of our minds. Questions we need answered, things like that. So we got 10 burning questions. All right. These are in no particular order. I'm just going to take us through them and would love to hear either you guys in the live chat or in the comment section, leave your thoughts to any of these questions. We're not going to try to answer all these questions. We're saying these are the 10 burning questions we got right now. All right. First burning question is, will Superman be a success? This is a huge thing in Hollywood right now. James Gunn is trying to relaunch the DC brand. Him and Peter Safran are trying to really reignite the entire comic book genre by having an actual valid and viable other comic book cinematic universe out there. And they're coming out of the gate with Superman. Again, I don't think Superman's going to be $1 billion film. I don't think it needs to be $1 billion film. Just like the first John Wick movie made what? What did we say the first John Wick movie made? Like $86 million or something?
Yeah, I have to look at the first one.
Like the first John Wick movie made very little money. But the thing is, because it was beloved, the next one made more money. And then the next one made more money. 86 million. That's how much the first John Wick movie made. And guess how much John Wick 4 made? Over 400 million, right?
440.
What's that?
440.
440. It made basically 5 times as much as the first one. It's okay that Superman's not going to be $1 billion film. It's all about think of it in terms of John Wick. Because the first one's beloved, the second one made more. And because people like that, the third one made more. And the fourth one made more. That's what they're trying to start. They need this Superman to be John Wick. Can it do it? That's what we're waiting to find out. So that's question 1. The next big question, burning question that everybody in fandom is always having right now is, who's going to be the next James Bond? Like, we have literally been discussing and debating this for years. It's like 1 week, it's definitely going to be Idris Elba. Another week, it's definitely going to be Tom Hiddleston. The next week, it's definitely going to be Ricky Tikki-Taki. After that, it's definitely going to be Henry Cavill. It's just one of those things. And now that Amazon MGM actually has creative control over the character now, I expect, you know what? I wouldn't have been shocked had they told us who the new James Bond was at CinemaCon. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it, but I wouldn't have been shocked if they did. So that's one of the big questions right now. The third big question goes right along with it is, who's going to direct the next James Bond? Now, there's been whispers and talk about both of the John Wick guys maybe coming in to direct it. There is a lot of speculation that Christopher Nolan could direct it. I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think that's actually going to happen. But could somebody like a Denis Villeneuve come in and direct it? Could Amazon decide we want to kick off this new era of Bond with the greatest filmmaker of all time, and they go and get Steven Spielberg to do it? He can do it. He's done great action before. Mystery and intrigue and all that kind of stuff. Regardless, almost as big as the who's going to play James Bond question, the big question is who's going to direct?
Yeah, because that's going to set the entire tone.
Yeah. Now, here's the another big burning question. This is our fourth one. And it's not often that fans think a lot about the inner workings at the executive offices of studios. But this one is so big it spills out even into the fandom. Are the two heads of Warner Brothers Pictures, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy, who we just saw at CinemaCon. They were on stage, did a good job presenting the Warner Brothers presentation at CinemaCon. But the word is that they're going to be out. But what did Warner Brothers just have in theaters right now? Minecraft. And they've got Sinners coming out next week, which right now is still holding 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with most of the major outlets having given their reviews. There's over 40 of them in right now, still holding 100%. Was there ever any truth to the fact that Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy might be getting shown the door? And even if it was true, could a massive hit in Minecraft and a massive hit in Sinners maybe change that whole narrative? Could they stick around? Everybody's waiting around right now to find out if DeLuca and Abdy are going to be on there. All right. The fifth big question that a lot of film fans are having right now is, what the hell is going on with the Michael movie? They literally showed us like this 7-minute sizzle reel of it, not at CinemaCon that just happened, last year at CinemaCon. They showed it to us. They showed it. I mean, they just really started filming it, but they showed us like a 7-minute sizzle reel that, by the way, looked amazing and totally changed my narrative about, like, I wasn't really sure it was a good idea to do a Michael film. And then they showed us that sizzle at CinemaCon last year. And I was like, holy crap, this could be really good. This could be really good. But then delays, all the speculation about the big mistake that the estate of Michael Jackson made, leaving out this clause in a settlement saying you couldn't use this family in any future story, and they failed to tell the filmmakers that. Now all this kind of stuff's going on. And by the way, there's some other talk about Michael, which we will address a little bit later in the show, but that's one of the big questions going on, is what's going on with Michael. The sixth big question that's going on around the world of film fandom right now is, when are we getting Batman 2?
Working on it, man.
I mean, I think it was supposed to come out this year or something like that. It hasn't even started filming yet or anything like. Obviously, yesterday we talked about that there was some speculation going around that maybe one of the reasons for the holdups might be Matt Reeves' health. That maybe he's been under the weather, something happened to him. He needs to get, fully up back to 100% before he makes it. By the way, I've heard from some people that are suggesting to me that it wasn't necessarily Matt Reeves who might be under the weather, but somebody close to him. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but still, it leaves the big burning question. Everybody's been asking. Guys, if you don't believe it, almost every day, when I look through all the messages that come into me, there's a question about what's going on with Batman 2. And so that's been one of the big things going on. All right. Sticking on the theme of Batman, the seventh big question, burning question going on in the world of film fandom right now is, who's going to be James Gunn's Batman? Well, I mean, Robert Pattinson is James Gunn's Batman because James Gunn is the head of the studio and this is their studio film. But I mean, who's going to be the DCU's Batman? Right? We're wondering, when is the second Mattverse Batman coming with Robert Pattinson? But one of the big questions everybody asking, okay, we know that, and Pattinson's awesome in the role. Who is going to be the DCU Batman? We've had some theories. I think, what's Alan's last name? Who's Reacher again? Richmond?
Richardson, yeah.
Richardson?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would be great in the role. The guy who is right now, who's in 1923 and is one of the stars of Drop. I forget the actor's name. You know what? I just saw an article with him saying it's been a lifelong dream of his to play Batman. He wouldn't be a bad...
Brandon Skellner?
Yes, that sounds right.
Skellner? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, after watching him in 1923 and watching him in Drop, he wouldn't be my first pick, but you know what? If they announced him tomorrow as the DCU's Batman, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be on board with it. I could see it. So, yeah, excellent. It's a big question that everybody's wondering about right now. So that's the seventh one. All right. The eighth big question. Again, this is more of an industry thing, but it's something that has huge implications on fans. Are we going to get an industry standard 45-day window? This is, I think, maybe the most important issue facing the movie industry right now. Now, it used to be, back in the pre-pandemic days, that there was a theatrical window. For those of you who don't know the terminology we're throwing around here, basically, what the theatrical window is once a movie comes out and is in theaters, there's a window of time that it can only play in theaters and not play in home video in any way, shape, or form, right? Now, it used to be that window used to be a number of months. The pandemic came, everything changed. Suddenly you got some movies with like 10-day windows and 14-day windows. Absolutely idiotic, and it's killing the theater industry. And at CinemaCon, this CinemaCon we were just at, we heard from movie theater owners and from the studios themselves saying, yeah, we got to have a theatrical window. We have to have an actual substantive theatrical window or our industry is going to die.
Yeah, you got to treat your product like it's precious.
Yes. And, you know, then we heard the head of AMC, who you guys know I'm not exactly best friends with, but give credit where it's due. We recently saw headlines that the head of AMC is saying that he's been having private discussions and up to 6 studios have already agreed in principle that we need to have a 45-day window. Now, it's one thing to say in principle, but let's see if it actually comes about. If the whole industry can agree that if you're going to put a movie in theaters, you got to at least give it a 45-day window. I am 100% for that. And I mean, honestly, I think it should be closer to 60.
I do too. I think it should be 60.
I think it should be 60, but considering we are literally getting movies 10 days.
Right.
And 2 weeks, I'll take 45. I think 45 is a compromise. But compromise is how advancement happens. So if they can make that 45, I think it'll be good. All right. The 9th question that all film fans have burning in their skulls right now is Star Wars ever going to get its act together? Guys, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, it's been.
We're getting on 6 years.
Yeah.
Since we've had a theatrical Star Wars movie. And the next one that we know is coming out is just an extension of the TV show. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to Mandalorian. I am. I like Mandalorian. I didn't like season 3 very much, but still, overall, I really like Mandalorian. But we haven't had a Star Wars theatrical event in going on 6 years.
Although, to be fair, 90s me is like, you guys have only waited 6 years? I'm like...
Yes, well, those are during the days when we never thought we were getting more Star Wars films. But we've got an up and active Lucasfilm, and the nitwits steering the boat over there haven't been able to put out a theatrical film in 6 years. And the only one that we know, I mean, yeah, there's all this talk about a Rey movie, but that's been put into doubt. I mean, it could still very well still happen, absolutely, but that's been put into doubt. Who's the guy who directed Wolverine?
Sean Levy. There's movement on that. Sean Levy.
No, well, the Sean Levy one, but again, nothing concrete.
Yeah.
But what was the name of the director of Wolverine again?
Oh, yes, of course.
And just directed
a complete unknown.
Yeah, why am I freezing out? Mangold.
James Mangold.
James Mangold. There's talk of a James Mangold one, but again, nothing concrete. We've had talk of 24 fucking films over the last couple of years, and we ain't got shit. And the only thing we got coming is an extension of the TV show.
Yeah.
And so that's the big question. Is Star Wars ever going to get its act together? All right. And the 10th one, again, these are in no particular order, but this is a question we get almost every day from people.
Yeah.
Can the MCU recapture the magics of phases 1 through 3? Because, listen, I'm an MCU fan. But over the past couple of years, I've had a bunch of people start accusing me of being a Marvel hater. And I'm not. There's a number of Marvel things that have come out in the last number of years that I've really quite enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
But the reality is, their batting average has gone down, man. Ever since Endgame, the batting average has gone down. They've still hit a couple of home runs, but they're also striking out a lot. More than we're used to. Can they recapture that magic of phases 1, 2, and 3, where we just expected every single Marvel movie coming out was going to be a banger? And we were excited. This is the way I've put it before, Jonathan. In phases 1 through 3, from Iron Man to Endgame,
Yeah.
every time a new Marvel movie was coming out, we expected it to be great.
Even if we had the few trips here and there, we still were like, let's do this.
But the batting average is so high
yeah.
that up until Endgame, when a new MCU movie's coming out, we expected it to be great. Ever since then, when a new Marvel project comes out, we hope it'll be good.
Yeah. We expect it to be mediocre. We hope it'll be good.
Yeah, no, we have gone from expecting it to be great to hoping it'll be good. Can they recapture that? Now, Kevin Feige is back in charge again after having all of his power stripped away from him by Bob Chapek. Daredevil has been fantastic.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
We've got Thunderbolts coming. It looks great. Got high hopes for Fantastic Four. But that's the question, is can Marvel recapture that magic? Can they get us back to the point where we just expect it to be great?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. And guys, those are the 10 burning questions right now that we've got surrounding the movie fandom and the movie world right now. We'll do another one of these in a couple of weeks when we bring up more questions that are burning with us right now. Do you have answers to any of those questions? Do you have further questions? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? On top of Superman coming, which I cannot wait for Superman. It is my most anticipated film of the year. Super excited about it. But lest you forget, Supergirl is in production right now. Millie Alcock, who was a breakout star in House of the
Dragon, yeah.
Breakout star in House of the Dragon. That even when the story needed them to get a new actress because they needed to fast forward a bunch of years, people still thought, keep her.
Just age her.
Just age her up, whatever, keep her. But she's, of course, our new Supergirl. Well, we've got our first little peek at some set photos. Blurry, blotchy, hard to kind of make out everything. But nonetheless, the first bunch of them have just gone public. They're over on Twitter. And let's take a look at a couple of these things.
Nice. Now, was this taken from a Razr flip phone?
Yeah, a time traveler from 1995 came up. Yeah, but this is clearly from a distance. First of all, there's a few things that are interesting. There's some video footage of the set construction.
Oh yeah,
that they claim is set construction for it. We got the Razr flip phone. Now, here's the interesting thing. And I'm going to pose to you guys the same question I posed to Jonathan Voico before we started the show.
I stick by my answer, by the way.
Right. And we're going to just take a look at a couple more. There's one of her walking around, her from the seeing the back of the cape.
I think they shot these from an airliner.
Okay. I was flying on my way to Arizona, and I looked out my window. Some pretty cool tanks. She's on top of some tanks. There's some video footage of her like moving some stuff off of a tank. And
that must be from, I'm guessing, from an alien world, obviously. It doesn't
maybe, or it's more advanced human technology. See her throwing her,
could be.
Getting ready to shoot. She just threw her coat down. There's another shot of that. But anyway, let's go back to this one. This is our first real kind of, as blotchy as it is, this is our first good look at the Supergirl costume. Now, couple things stood out to me. Number one, man, that's a short skirt. I didn't know if they would go for the skirt look in the Supergirl costume. I honestly thought they would go more with the Sasha look from Flash. Yeah. Remember the Supergirl outfit in Flash? Yeah. That was a good outfit.
I liked it.
I thought they might go with the full leggings, but they did decide to go with the skirt look. So here's the thing. I posed this to Jonathan, and here's the question I ask you. And I'm going to see if I can...
zoom and enhance?
I'm going to see if I can zoom and enhance.
Definitely won't be enhancing this thing. This thing looks like a Bigfoot sighting, but...
yeah, I mean, this is pretty rough.
It's like...
But, again, okay, so there it goes. I go in there. Is that... Because remember, there are precedents for this in the comics. Is that her rocking a midriff the exposed midriff, or is that a thick yellow belt? Now, Jonathan, tell everybody what you kind of.
I think it's a belt. I think that's a big waist belt.
And your reasoning?
Because if you look at the color, it doesn't match her thighs, hand, or face.
Yeah. And I think when we blow it up, I still think it's possible she's rocking the classic kind of midriff, but I think you're right. As we zoom in more, the color difference seems to jump out more and more. So it's probably the belt. It is probably the belt. And so anyway, so this is a very classic. It looks like it's consistent with David Cornsweat's Superman symbol.
Right.
So they're sticking with that motif for it, which makes sense. This is all in the DCU. That is the House of L symbol in this world. So it makes sense that it's the exact same kind of shape. Yeah, listen. So they're going with a kind of a classic Supergirl look. And I'm a little bit surprised. Again, I thought they would go with the full leggings, but they're going with the traditional skirt. And I think it looks good. And look, the sets, the tanks. Again, I don't think those are alien tanks, to be honest with you.
You're right, because there's advanced technology at this point with
and really, it doesn't look all that advanced. It's just kind of got a curve.
You know what it looks like? It looks like it's out of Fallout. Like those were the
tanks, doesn't it?
Before the bombing in Fallout.
Oh, okay, that's true. So I have a feeling we're going to see her ripping some tanks apart.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of these established. Every superhero, especially a first superhero movie, every first new superhero movie always has to have that scene where they establish this is a powerful person.
Yeah.
Right? So I think maybe her dropping down and ripping some tanks apart might be that.
This shot's really cool too. I think this was on set. If I'm not mistaken.
It does look like it's taken with the same camera, doesn't it?
I remember us either running with whether there was speculation or if it was officially confirmed that Supergirl was supposed to make a cameo in one of the films before.
There's only one film before.
Was that just a rumor?
There's only one film.
Superman?
That's Superman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is word that she does make an appearance, but you know what? I even think maybe James Gunn might have let it slip that she is in it.
Okay.
But I don't know that she's in it much. I don't think Jason Momoa's Lobo is, though. I think
right.
Lobo is something we're going to have
he's
to
supposed to appear in her film.
Yes, he's going to appear in, he's going to be, I think, probably a big thing. So she's probably going to cameo in Superman, but not Jason Momoa, I don't think. And then we'll see her, obviously, in the full Supergirl movie with Jason Momoa.
I've grown to really like the character of Supergirl. I mean, the first time I was really kind of saw a bit of her story was when I was at Target and they released something called Superman Batman Apocalypse.
Right.
An animated DC movie. It was on Blu-ray. I said, this looks awesome. I'm going to buy it. Turns out that movie is a Supergirl movie. It's all about Supergirl. But even though I felt like I was kind of duped into buying us Batman's, I actually think that's one of their best DC films. I really enjoyed it. And from there, like the Injustice games, I think she's my main character. So I do like this character of Supergirl. I hope there's the story James Gunn or whoever is directing it or picks is one that actually makes me like the character even more. I'm really excited for this movie. Probably a lot more than a lot of usual moviegoers.
You know, I'm having a hard time getting excited for it. I think because I can't get excited for Supergirl until I see Superman.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm very I love the casting. I love that Jason Momoa has finally been cast as the guy who is truly born to play, which I think is Lobo. I love the casting of Millie Alcock. I love the story that this is going to be based on. There's a lot of things I like in my head, but I have to admit I can't build up enthusiasm for it because I got to see how Superman is. If Superman is great, I'm going to go through the roof excited for Supergirl. But if Superman shows them getting off on the wrong foot, it's going to be hard for me to generate that excitement. So right now I'm kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
I'm in excitement limbo for Supergirl right now.
And I got to say, I'm really interested in what Craig Gillespie can do with this because I loved I, Tonya. I loved Lars and the Real Girl, stuff like that. So I just can't wait to see what he does.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Again, I think we'll get a lot more of an idea of how excited we can be once we see Superman. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think of these potato shots of the Supergirl thing? I mean, at least it gives us an idea of this is what the costume is. It's going with kind of the classic look. I like what I'm seeing so far in 4K, 2K, 1 bit.
Yeah.
Maybe some Super Mario Brothers 8-bit photography there, but it does give us an idea of the suit. What do you guys think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? I do not normally break scoops. Scoops is a terrible business to be in, man. It's tough. It's hard. You're wrong so many of the times and all that. It's really, that's why 99% of the time, I do not break scoops.
Uh-huh.
But I can tell you this. Talking about the movie Michael, the Michael Jackson film that everybody has kind of been waiting on. I mean, this has been a movie a lot of people thought should have been made 10 years ago. Always been speculation, will it get made? They showed us a sizzle reel for it last year at CinemaCon. It looks fantastic. I guarantee this is going to be $1 billion film. Guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee this is going to be $1 billion film. But where is it? And it's had all these problems and these obstacles. I spoke to somebody a little bit ago connected to the production of the film. And they told me something that I sat on until I was able to talk to another person connected to the film who gave me the same information. So here's what I can tell you. The Michael movie is probably going to be split into 2 films. Michael Part 1 and Michael Part 2. Or Michael Beat and Michael It. Or Michael Billy and Michael Jean. Whatever. It looks like they're going to spread it into 2 separate films.
2 Michael, 2 Jackson.
Michael and Michael 2 Jackson. 2 Jacks, 2 Furious. So the reason behind it would be twofold. One, the music library of Michael Jackson is just so big.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know that they can highlight all the music they want to highlight in it in one film. Well, there's really 3 things going on. So that's one. They're them wanting to highlight more of the musical library of Michael Jackson. And there's just no way they feel they can do that in one film. Secondly is, there have been whispers about the film coming in close to 4 hours.
Wow.
No movie theater wants a 4-hour film in their theaters. Unless it's ending in Rings or MCU. Like they just don't, and even then they don't really want a 4-hour film.
Split it.
So there's that. The third thing is this. If Michael was going to make $1 billion, and I think it would, you now have the potential of making 1.7, 1.8, or $2 billion with this project simply by splitting it in half. And because of that, now look, can I tell you right now that it is a 100% ironclad guarantee that they are indeed splitting into 2? I don't know that they've made the final decision yet, but I expect that it will be split into 2. And that is something that I can confirm to you guys is something they are seriously sitting down and looking at. And so I've waited on telling you guys this a little bit, but I wanted to make sure. And so, you know, when she told me about the music stuff, I was like, yeah, that tracks. So, and you know what? I think this would be a good idea. Number one, nobody wants to go and sit in a movie theater for 4 hours for most films. Number two, it does give you the opportunity to highlight more of the musical catalog of Michael Jackson. And number three, you take all that expense and effort you put into making the film, and now you get 2 movies out of it. And then maybe someday down the line, you can do a special Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, and put out a one, you know, and like, look, you put out the 2 movies 4 months apart. You put out Michael Part 1 in like a June, and you put out a Michael Part 2 in say September or October. And then maybe on those are going to make you massive amounts of money. And then maybe on like the 1 year anniversary, you re-release it as one film, Michael the Whole Bloody Affair, or whatever it is you're going to call it. And do it that way. I only see it as a win. I honestly don't see a drawback to it. The only drawback is if the first Michael is a bad film, then not many people are going to go to see the second one. But is that even a drawback? Because they already made it. They already spent the money. So even if it's bad, whatever money you make in the second film is just extra gravy on top. Mm-hmm. So again, for them, I just simply do not see there being I don't see there being a drawback. So it was confirmed to me, this is what's going on. And I expect that we will be getting an announcement fairly soon. Again, this is me saying, I fully expect that we are going to be getting an announcement within the next couple of months, I think, of Michael being split into 2 films. But anyway, there's just that. And some people are like, I wouldn't want to go see one Michael movie. Why would I go see 2? Well, they don't care about you.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter.
If you weren't going to go see the first one, they don't care that you're not. What they do want is the people who are going to go see the first one, they will also go to see the second one, provided that it's good. So anyway, that's what they've got right now. And by the way, I have heard, again, the stuff they showed us was great. And I have heard that they are very, very proud of this film. I've heard they're very proud of the movie. That's a great movie. What I was told was there are times when it's a hard watch, but they meant that in the really good way. I mean, just think of some other films that some of the greatest films ever have those moments that are really hard to watch. I've heard that, but I've also heard they're extremely proud of this film. And I just don't see this as being anything but a win for them if they do it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? The idea of splitting what would be a really long Michael movie into 2 separate films. I mean, I've just listed off a bunch of the positives. Can you think of some negatives? Whatever those are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that all down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick moment here and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Hungryroot. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. Okay, so I'm sure you guys can all relate to this. Spring hits and suddenly life goes from like 0 to 100. Busy season is officially in full swing over here. And honestly, who's got time to go grocery shopping? That's where Hungryroot comes in. See, because Hungryroot is like having your own personal shopper. I told them my goals and they started curating groceries for me that actually fit my life. Be it smoothies, snacks, salad kits, even ready to eat meals. All clean ingredients, no artificial junk. This week, I got the grilled turkey tenderloin with pesto grilled veggies, and it was amazing. And I got my usual protein-packed snacks. It's like they're learning my taste better than I even know myself. And the best part is, I don't have to waste time driving to the grocery store and wandering the aisles. That's time I can spend doing literally absolutely anything else. Guys, I love Hungryroot. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. And thank you to our friends at Hungryroot for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to your live comments and questions here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Eric says, hey, John, hearing you and Rob get all sweaty over the new Fantastic Four movie reminds me that Schnepp would go ultra sweaty over an almost identical pitch Peyton Reed once made. Fantastic Four was his idea taken. Rest in power, John Schnepp. Wish he was here to see this.
I honestly can't. I remember the issue. I can't remember what Peyton Reed's story pitch was. I'm going to doubt that it was taken because, again, it's Fantastic Four is now fitting into a new MCU than it was back at the time. But yeah, I still remember one of Schnepp's prized possessions was this. Do you remember this? Do you ever see the big Doctor Doom bust he had? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that thing was awesome. Yeah, I mean, if Schnepp were around today still, oh man, he would. I think this more than any other movie would have been the one he'd be waiting for. I mean, he would be losing his mind for this one if he were around today. It's really, Reason number 7,821 why it's a damn shame he's not with us anymore.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt Films saw Warfare, felt more like a sequence than a movie, took place in one location. Things happen, but there is no arc. It's very matter of fact. Cast was good. Cosmo Jarvis accent work was great. Seems like something you'd watch at an Iraq War museum.
Well, look, there are many different types of stories, right? Like escaping out of something in and of itself is a story, telling all the little details of what went into this, that, and the other thing. And it becomes, now again, I haven't seen Warfare yet. Again, we were busy with CinemaCon, came back. I needed to go and see the new release last night, which was, of course, The Amateur, which isn't so good. Ooh. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not all that good either. But I've heard nothing but great things about, and the trailer for it on the AMC Prime Dolby screen was amazing. So hopefully I'm going to get a chance to see it this weekend, but I've heard absolutely nothing but great things about it. All right, what's next?
Ghazi says, with the Sons of Legends, John D. Washington, Wyatt Russell, Ray Nicholson, Jack Quaid, Scott Eastwood, Colin Hanks, and Patrick Schwarzenegger, who do you think will be a definite A-lister and who might have a shot winning an Oscar one day?
Well, I think the two at the top of the heap.
I agree. Yeah.
I haven't even given my answer yet.
Yeah.
I believe the two at the top of the heap would be John Washington and Wyatt Russell. I mean, I think Colin Hanks has been around for a while. Colin Hanks is not a new guy.
That's the thing. Yeah,
he's been in the business a long time.
Yeah.
By the way, he was great in The Offer.
Oh, right.
He was really good in The Offer. I like Colin Hanks a lot. But yeah, I think those are the two that have. I mean, listen, it could happen for anything. Any of them could break out and do huge, but I think those are the two best at the top of the heap right now for me, at any rate.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
All right, we got. Basil says, my favorite cinema did a double feature this evening was Alien followed by Aliens. I've already seen both many times, just never on the big screen. This was glorious. So I'm curious, which do you prefer? I slightly lean toward Alien.
Aliens. I prefer the sequel. Just because it's got the action and the all that kind of stuff. What's great about there's an incredible symmetry between Terminator 1 and 2 and Alien 1 and 2, Alien and Aliens.
Yeah.
The first ones are both very different from their sequels. Like both of them are a certain tone and all that kind of stuff. And then their sequels both became some of the greatest action films of all time. And so there's a really neat kind of synchronicity there. But yeah, Aliens 2, I think might be my second favorite action film of all time.
Yeah.
As an action film. So yeah, so I love the original Alien. Love it. But I think if I had to choose one to watch tonight, it's probably going to be Aliens.
There you go.
All right, what's next?
Ryan the Movie Guy. Besides Lord of the Rings and the OG Star Wars, what are some of your favorite film trilogies? And if Dune Messiah is of the same quality of the past two films, would the Dune trilogy possibly rival Lord of the Rings or Star Wars as the best?
No. I think almost regardless of how good Dune Messiah ends up being, if that's what they call it, maybe they call it Dune Part 3. I don't think it definitely doesn't bump Star Wars, and I don't think it bumps Lord of the Rings either. But it gets into the conversation as one of maybe the three greatest films or greatest trilogies of all time. I mean, obviously some of the other ones are the Godfather trilogy. Look, everybody can crap on the Godfather 3 all you want, but that movie was still nominated for Best Picture of the Academy Awards, and I still contend. You take out the Coppola's daughter's name. What's her name again?
Yeah, Sophia.
Sophia. You take out, and I'm not blaming Sophia, but you take out the Sofia Coppola and the Andy Garcia storyline. That movie is still not as good as Godfather 1 or 2, but maybe wins Best Picture that year if it just wasn't for that one kind of side story. That is still a brilliant film. I don't care what everybody always craps on Godfather 3. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. That movie, you take out that part, not as good as Godfather 1 or 2, but it's a great movie. So that's got to be up there. I don't think Matrix can be in the conversation. First Matrix is great. A lot of people didn't love the second Matrix. I really do like Matrix 2 personally. I like it more than most people. But I think everybody agrees Matrix 3 was a big dip. What would be some of the other great trilogies?
Paddington.
Paddington?
Recently, I've enjoyed the Creed films, the 3 Creed films.
I mean, that's just
personal. That's just personal choice.
Oh, the Toy Story movies. Toy Story 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely in the discussion. I want to say the Christopher Nolan Batman films.
Yeah, that too.
I just think the third one is so much below the first two that I don't know that you can put it in the best trilogy conversation.
Yeah.
Captain America.
I mean, people are saying Back to the Future. I love it. I love Back to the Future in the trilogy.
I
know
with
it goes down
two.
like the third was like whatever, but I still enjoy watching those as an arc.
But yeah, when you talk about Captain America, First Avenger, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War, that would be up there somewhere, I guess.
What about is the World's End the one with like
Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, the one with the 2 guys from like
Oh,
Shaun
no,
of the
you're
Dead.
thinking
the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
That's not really a trilogy,
Okay.
though.
It's a spiritual
spiritually
trilogy.
related, but that's not really a trilogy, though.
It's like The View Askew. It's like they're not. I guess they are mostly connected, but not always. You know?
Okay.
Well, I mean, they're not even the same characters.
What about Blade?
Right.
The Blade trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Come on.
To this day, there's only one Blade. He's right.
Hannibal King. Oh God, that third one. That I still remember me and my buddy going to see Blade 3, and like both of us so excited because Blade 2 is so good.
The Naked Gun trilogy. Yeah.
But I mean, I remember walking out and we were just going, what the hell was that? What the hell was that when we came out of Blade 3? Oh my God, it was so bad.
Would you consider like The Glass with M. Night Shyamalan's
It's a trilogy, but
trilogy?
Sure, but it's a bad one.
Oh yeah, I know, but still. Just bringing up things, you know. I like to bring up
let me take that back. Unbreakable was fantastic.
Split was great.
Was really good.
It's just
but Glass was
the landing of Glass.
And they only tied Split at the very end. It could have been a standalone movie.
It really could have been in a way, but it's just the third Glass was just so bad. Anyway, all right, let's move on. What's next?
All right. Unfortunate experience 1 of 2. Just saw The Amateur. A couple talked and were on their phones the entire first 45 minutes. I asked them to please stop. They looked at me like I asked for a blood sacrifice of a child. They continued another 10 minutes until I alerted theater staff. One of them tried to stop me as I got up, but I still complained. Theater staff observed 5-ish minutes and they stopped. As soon as the staff left, they went back to their behavior. Insane, especially for a Thursday night preview.
Listen, I'll tell you what. If you are somebody who pulls out and uses or talks on your phone during a movie, fuck you. Like seriously, I don't care. Snitches get stitches. I don't give a shit. Somebody is pulling out their phone. If you are so self-absorbed, if you're such a dipshit, you're pulling out your phone and even using your phone, let alone talking on it. Fuck you. I'm absolutely gonna go get staff and get you thrown out.
Because like having a phone, one time I saw a guy get up and he walked over to where the exit is, but he like leaned against the wall and was on his phone. Like, oh, I got up from my seat. You're still in the theater talking.
Now, I've seen people do that, but they actually go down into the hallway then.
Sure.
And you do that? Totally cool. As long as you're not talking. Yeah, that's perfectly cool. You know, I have some issues with the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
But they do some certain things so good. And one of the things that I love about Alamo Drafthouse is they have zero tolerance policy. You pull out your phone, they're throwing your ass out. You talk, and I'm not just saying one little whisper, but you disturb by chatting amongst yourselves during a movie, they will just come right in, no questions asked, throw your ass out. And that is absolutely what every movie theater chain needs to do. You are absolute human scum if you pull out your phone and talk on it during the movie. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. And it's. By the way, I should give a public warning. This is a public service announcement because you mentioned you were seeing The Amateur.
Oh yeah.
I got to throw this out there as a public service announcement. they advertise. First of all, I didn't love the movie. It's really slow. Not a slow burn. It's just really slow. It's a very, very slow film. Some really good performances, a couple of great moments. I don't regret that I saw it, but I can't recommend it.
I hear it's allergic to excitement.
It's allergic to excitement. But I got to throw this in here. They advertise it starring Rami Malek, Lawrence Fishburne, and John Bernthal. John Bernthal isn't in this movie for 5 minutes.
Kind of had a feeling.
And his character literally has zero purpose. I'm going to give it away.
Oh, here's a
Here it
gift
is.
to everyone right here.
Here it is. I'm going to give it away.
John Campea's Friday gift for you.
Friday spoiler for you.
Friday gift.
Makes no impact on the movie itself at all.
You're welcome in advance.
So, you guys know the premise of the movie because you saw the trailer. So, starts off Rami Malek's going into CIA headquarters, so that's where he works, and he bumps into John Bernthal. John Bernthal's kind of like the hotshot because everybody knows he's the great super spy, right?
Yeah.
And they have a rapport with each other, right? John Bernthal, the super spy, Rami Malek, he's the analyst who works in the building. They have a good rapport together. That's it. Bumps into him in the hallway, and then we don't see him again until late in the third act. Rami Malek, of course you can tell from the trailers, is now out hunting down the people who killed his wife against the wishes of the CIA. He's going out and killing them. So while he's in Russia, in some fishing village in Russia, all of a sudden John Bernthal's character comes in. And Rami Malek's like, "Are you here to kill me?" He goes, No, I'm not here to kill you. I'm trying to save your life. You need to end this and come with me. And Rami Malek goes, "No, I can't do that." John Bernthal's like, "Okay." And he gets up and leaves.
Okay.
And that's it.
There you go.
It's like, if you're going to have this character there, have him do something. Like maybe he doesn't even say, "Well, all right, if you're going to do this, make sure you take this. It'll help." Or, "All right, well then I thought you might say you won't come with me. So here's some information for you that will help you on your quest." Literally nothing.
It's almost as if they shot him to put him in the trailer.
That's it. He literally shows up by bumping into him in the foyer, going, "Hey, how you doing?" And then to come and saying, "You need to come with me." And he's like, "No, I can't do that." "Okay."
Oh,
And then he leaves. And that's it. That's the entire thing of John Bernthal in the movie.
He
There
was just trailer.
No purpose to his character whatsoever.
He was trailer porn the whole time.
It was
you guys smell
absolute
that?
trailer porn.
Do you guys smell an achievement and cameo design coming for the Academy Awards?
Like, and achievement in cameo design. Hey, look, the Emmys have a best cameo kind of thing.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. It's called
I
Best
will
Guest
watch
Appearance.
every year just for that award.
But I mean, if he at least, when he goes into and meets with them, if he at least like did something that helped the character journey or helped him in what he was doing or anything, it was literally pointless. There was no purpose for him or his scenes in the movie at all. It was really, really frustrating.
So
Anyway.
amateur.
So amateur.
So amateur.
So amateur.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Well, speaking of, Cody Hunt says, "For the life of me, I can't think why John Bernthal's in the
Oh my
amateur."
God. I had no idea that question was
I've
there.
been sitting on this one. His character has barely any relevance to the movie.
I swear to God, I had no idea that question was there. I mean, I don't even really have to say much else, do I? There was no purpose. None. Hi, bye. That's the whole thing.
They
It
needed
was-
that.
Oh,
They needed that third spot on the poster.
yes.
A name on that third spot.
And by the way, Lawrence Fishburne, I don't know if you actually sit down and time it. I don't even know if he's in 10 minutes of this movie.
Gee.
Maybe 10, maybe 12, maybe 8. I don't know. Anyway.
Revenge with Rami.
All right, what's next?
Two-parter from Alex. Hi, about the Lord of the Rings trilogy. What is a secondary, tertiary, more subtle scene that you love? So Rohan will answer doesn't count. For me, it's from the Two Towers when Gandalf calls Shadowfax at Fangorn Forest. How majestic the moment feels with how it's shot. The music that swells you and the reaction of Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli meeting the horse, giving a small bow.
Yeah, because all the moments, and we always list off so many of them about Lord of the Rings are always a lot of these big highlight moments. You bow to no one. Ride! And Rohan shall answer, and so on and so forth, and all that kind of stuff. A couple of them that I think are really special. One, I very rarely talk about this one, but is when Theoden is coming out of his shadow, and then he recognizes his niece. Like there's something really special about that. And like to further that, when he falls on the battlefield and like he's talking to her as he's dying, that's always been a really special one to me. What's the line too when I think it's Legolas says, "What about dying with a friend?" And Gimli goes, I can do that. That's a great moment too. Yeah, listen, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is just so full of so many of these great, amazing moments that it's hard to quantify.
Sure. I mean, I keep thinking about the scene. Why can't I think of her name now? But she calls the river to like turn into like the horses that come through and stampede.
Which by the way is not in the books.
Yeah.
But again, somebody brought it up in the live chat, but I do want to say, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If Lord of the Rings came out today, if the trilogy came out today, you know that corner of the internet that would be screaming bloody murder that Lord of the Rings is all woke and DEI because there's a lone the girl who says, "No man can kill me," and she pulls off her helmet, "I am no man," and she kills. You just know there's that whole corner. If that came out today, that whole little dark corner of the internet would go, "Whoa, they hate men, they hate men." They'd be crying about it.
I think my favorite part is the end of the Lord of the Rings one, where Samwise and Frodo are looking and they see the journey ahead of them, because that's when I realized,
the movie's ending.
The movie's ending. I didn't know it was a trilogy. I was so pumped to get on with the journey.
Wait, you didn't realize?
I didn't, because I had
no idea. You're alone. I think there were other.
I had no idea Lord of the Rings was Lord of the Rings back then when I watched it. I just thought, wow, what a long buildup. Now we get to go on this journey. I didn't even know 2 hours had just passed. Yeah. I hate sitting it, but I was so pumped to get this to wherever they were going that when the credits went up, I let out this audible gasp that I don't think I've ever in a theater, where it just came out. I was like, oh, and then we walked out, and then I was just like, with my head down, walking out of the theater. People probably thought I hated the movie. I didn't.
Man.
I was just so disappointed.
You saw the end of that, and Peter Jackson was like,
"Got your ass."
But it was a beautiful shot, though.
Yep. All right. Yeah. No, I still remember. I was in the theater. I knew that this was a trilogy and all, but I remember being in the theater and Sam and Frodo looking out. And they sing Mordor, and there it is. And okay, let's go. And then the credits start, and I still remember audibly hearing in the theater, "What?"
Yeah.
Like when the credits started.
You know what I did after? I went to go buy the Two Towers book, so I could find out what happens. I was so excited. I read the first 2 pages. I couldn't get with the dialect.
It's very wordy.
It was tough for me at that age to actually continue reading that book.
All right, what's next?
Alex continues. I do recommend the War of the Rohirrim movie. It's solid good. The story's compelling. One of the most notable aspects of sound design. I love the sound design in that, which is almost at par with the OG trilogy. Hera and Helm Hammerhand story is beautifully presented in anime form.
I was late to it.
I liked it, didn't love it.
I'm in the same boat.
I love finding out why it's called Helm's Deep.
Like, I remember when they showed the first screening for it at this big animation festival. Remember that?
Yep.
And like the people who are most into animation. And the first reactions coming out of that one were all really glowing, like really, really good. Then we started to hear some not so good things about it. And so then I kind of skipped it. And then I got around to watching it later, and I'm with you. I think, you know what, this is good. It's good, but it's not something I'll go back and revisit, to be honest with you. You are right, though. Sound design, gorgeous. Some of the visuals, breathtaking. The use of color is really, really great.
Yeah.
And overall, I thought it was okay, but I just didn't love it myself.
Some of the story beats, I was just like, I wouldn't really. Okay.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
The Tick. Been catching up on Apple TV Plus after a couple of years of not being signed up. Get your drinks ready for when John says what we know he's going to say. But Silo was really good. The studio is excellent so far. The Gorge wasn't bad for a straight to stream.
I like the Gorge, to be honest with you.
Sugar, not sure what to make of that twist. I kind of agree. Severance season 2 dips in the middle, but strong start and finish. Lady in the Lake was okay, but a minor role at start left an impression. I'm predicting big roles for this looks up name Damon Cornsweat guy.
Probably meant David.
Yeah, I think that was his joke.
Yeah. And listen, again, it's Apple TV. By the way, did you see the trailer for that new one that got coming out with Skarsgård called Murder Robot or something like that?
Nope.
It's either Murder Bot or Murder Robot.
All
Ray,
right.
can you look it up? Can't remember. I sat down and watched a trailer for it. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing looks, it's called Murder Bot, they're saying. It looks kind of fun. Like anytime you got a Skarsgård in there, it looks kind of, I mean, it looks like a mashup of a number of other kind of sci-fi projects we've seen, but it does look really interesting. It looks fun to me. Anyway. All right. What's next?
Okay. We got Darth Monday says, just wanted
I prefer Darth Monday. I like that
Darth
one.
Monday is good. I just wanted to ask if you've seen or heard of the video game that just released on Steam called Hollywood Animal, where you attempt to run a movie studio. I'd be curious what you see, or what you guys think.
I honestly have never even heard of it.
I looked at images. Looks like a strategy game. I'd have to see like.
Is it like The Sims, but you're running a studio?
Sort of like Sim City, more so.
And it's about running a studio?
Yeah.
There's a couple games that came out. I think there's
That sounds like fun.
movie studio tycoon, something like that had come out.
It's a little different. This is like Sim City style. I'd have to see a Let's Play to see if I want to do it. But
by the way, if you guys have seen the latest episode of The Studio, the one called The Missing Reel, big featured in that is, have you seen that episode yet?
No.
Okay. Well, big featured in it is Smokehouse, the restaurant. I'm just going to say that Jonathan and his wife and Ann and I have eaten there several times.
I love Smokehouse. It's right across.
I love Smokehouse.
Right across the street, directly across the street from Warner Brothers. Actually, the first episode of they're shooting in the Smokehouse too, where they have
where they have the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all Jewish. Yeah, that where they have that meeting is in Smokehouse.
Right.
Then they feature it again. Like all these places they're going are all places we've gone and hang out at. But like Smokehouse is literally a 5-minute drive up the street from where we lived in Burbank, and we would just go eat there every once in a while. And it's a pretty iconic place. By the way, a little trivia. I might have said this before. It's owned by George Clooney.
Right.
And he didn't start it. He just used to go there all the time.
It's been around since the 40s.
So he loved it so much that he bought it, and he actually named his production studio after the restaurant. George Clooney's production company is called Smokehouse. If you're ever in LA, you should definitely go to big famous scenes of movies, like for instance, La La Land. The big scene in the restaurant thing, that whole iconic scene from La La Land, that's in Smokehouse. But anyway, just a little side note there. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Anonymous says, just got back into WWE after a decade since it's on Netflix. Rhea Ripley and Cody Rhodes are so good, and Gunther is a great heel. Would recommend.
I tell you what, the only wrestler that has really stood out to me in the new generation of wrestlers is Rhea Ripley. I love her. Like first of all, her physique is amazing. And her in-ring skills are crazy good. And she walks around like a legitimate character right out of Mad Max. And I love her character. I think her character's great. Haven't been really impressed with a lot of the other new stars. I'll be honest with you. I've never thought Cody Rhodes was that good. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying Cody Rhodes is bad. I'm not. I've never thought he was bad. I always thought he was pretty good. Didn't he and Stephen Amell had heat, right? Didn't Stephen Amell wrestle him?
Yeah, I think so. They had like a little.
I've just never thought he was all. I think he's decent. But I've just never thought he was all that good. And now he's kind of the main face of the whole company. Well, whatever. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, I just want to show support for Rachel Zegler. I don't even agree with her politically or some of the things that she said on social media, but she's great at Snow White and great in West Side Story. I hope Hollywood won't abandon her. She's a star.
She's flat out. If you just want to talk about how good is somebody walking onto a set and performing, she's great. She's really good. I'm not saying she's destined to win 2 Oscars or anything like that, but she's really good. I mean, if you want to let your own personal biases get in the way of that, that's fine. But if you just want to look at this person as a performer, walking on stage, walking onto a set and doing her job, she's really great. And she's like one of the best vocalists too in the business. I wouldn't say the best vocalist, but she's top 2 or 3. So yeah, she's really good. All right, what's next?
Declan says, I consider Anthony Starr as Homelander the single greatest acting performance on TV. The way
I can't agree with that.
The way he conveys thoughts and feelings with only his eyes and face is phenomenal. Not to mention, I always have a Homelander nightmare after watching an episode. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would definitely not agree, but I agree he's great. By the way, he's got a new movie called G20.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Looks terrible.
Is that a Logitech mouse?
No,
it's about the Logitech mouse. That's how
it's about who plays the president. Jonathan, can you look that up? I'm forgetting the name. Super Hollywood royalty, and I'm freezing on her name. Anyway, she Viola Davis. Viola Davis.
Right when I saw it, you got it.
Stars as the president of the United States, and at a G20 summit meeting, a terrorist group takes over the compound, led by Homelander. Well, Anthony Starr.
Right.
It's the first thing I've seen Anthony Starr really pop up in. So the guy who plays Homelander, Anthony Starr, is playing the head of the terrorist group taking over and terrorizing the G20 leaders. I think the movie looks terrible. I really do. But because it's Viola Davis and because it's Anthony Starr, I'll probably give it a check.
I mean,
but keep your eyes open for it.
Even like the poster here, I'll just bring it up. It's like,
you got the poster? Yeah, terrible poster.
This looks like a satire.
Yes. You know what it looks like? It looks like a movie they're making in the studio.
Right.
This is what it looks like. Seth Rogen, head of whatever the name of their studio is, in the studio. It looks like a movie they're making there. Doesn't look like a real movie. Anyway. All right, what's next?
She's giving executive orders.
She's giving the executive orders.
Tax Day Tipper. John, tell me you're going to see The Accountant early access screening on April 15th at 7 o'clock. April 15th is, of course, Tax Day. Oh, that's great. Literally perfect marketing. Also, if you don't go to the early access of it, you would literally have to wait 10 days later. Till
yeah, got my tickets for it. Here's the one bummer about it, though. Almost every early fan screening of movies. Now, of course, the theater Ann and I go to mostly is AMC. We go to the AMC Tyler Galleria in Riverside. Almost every single one, our A-list works. Doesn't work.
Oh, for pre-screen, yeah.
For this one. Doesn't work for this one. So we actually had to, instead of using our A-list to get the tickets, we had to buy the tickets, and the tickets were $25 each.
Whoa.
That's steep, man. That's steep. But it is a 10-day early screening. It's a special event sort of thing. I think they're giving out some swag at it too. So, and because I love The Accountant, I've been dying to see this movie. Let's just do it. So we bought a couple of tickets. So we have our tickets for it, and I'm just really, really excited to see it. All right, what's next?
Reggie says, hey guys, have you seen the 11-minute Kodak video on Ryan Coogler gushing about film formats and ratios WB is releasing Sinners on? It's like a love letter to film. The passion and enthusiasm has me buying 143 IMAX tickets, and I don't even like horror.
You know, it's funny. You can barely see it here. This is a text
I
literally got from Robert Meyer Burnett. Like Robert texted me last night. He goes, oh my God, you got to see this video. And
I thought he was going to say, dude.
Well, actually, you know what? Dude. that's the first. Dude, you got it. That's Rob often begins his text with that. But yeah, he just sent me that yesterday that I need to watch. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but obviously I had a couple people text me about say I should really check it out.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Hey, y'all. So with the reviews from critics for Sinners, average critic score is 8.9 on RT as of this message. What are your expectations for the box office? I'm thinking 70 million.
You're crazy.
With the genre Easter weekend cast reception, it's going to kill. 70 million is pretty steep for a horror.
R-rated vampire horror movies do not make $70 million opening weekend.
In period piece?
Yeah. Period piece, R-rated vampire horror films. It's not going to make $70 million opening weekend. I sure hope it does. It sounds like it's amazing, and I will totally celebrate with everybody if it does. I hope it does. I just can't see it happening. I think that's a very, very unrealistic expectation. But you never know. Maybe. It looks great. And again, as of right now, it's holding a 100%. And remember, he made this on a budget. He made this one on a budget. So it doesn't have to make $70 million opening weekend for it to be good. I think a closer thing would probably be 40 million. I think 70 is way too out there.
I mean, so we're putting it on par with Thunderbolts. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. Again, it's just the genre, right? This is not the type of movie that gets tons of average film goers rushing out on opening weekend. So I don't see it. I'm thinking closer to 40 would be a great target for it. Mm-hmm. And if it does, I think it'd be great. Wonderful for it. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, hey, John, I heard a crazy rumor.
I love rumors.
That Marvel may change the Thunderbolts movie title after the official release because the asterisk is for the real team name and that it will be a big spoiler and will be revealed during the movie. Is something like this possible? No way.
This is something people have been bringing up for like 2 months.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, has this ever happened in a movie
that they
history?
changed it the weekend
changed it
out?
like after
no,
a movie's come out?
At least not that I'm aware of. But that's actually, we've had people writing in and asked that, like as of a couple months ago.
I only don't believe it because your title is your marketing.
Yeah.
And so then you're going to change your marketing because of like a movie that is not, it's C and D tier list characters and this and that over a spoiler. I just don't buy it.
Look, one of the biggest terms, the most important terms in all of film marketing is the word awareness. That's a huge term in marketing. One of the biggest goals of a marketing department is not just to raise hype, but is to raise awareness. Are people even aware this movie is coming and what it is? To Jonathan's point, and we talked about this last time somebody asked us, do you think the asterisk means they're going to change the title? Is they are spending tens of millions of dollars to raise awareness, to make people even aware of Thunderbolts. If they just then, the day before the movie comes out or the day the movie does come out, change the name of the movie, they are literally taking all those tens of millions of dollars and throwing them into a burning trash can.
Yeah.
So again, is it possible they do that? I haven't talked to Kevin Feige to say otherwise.
What are they going to reveal? It's going to be like, I mean, I know it doesn't fit because it takes place in New York, but let's just say this was in LA. Oh, it's not Thunderbolts. It's Avengers West Coast. Big reveal.
Yeah. So like, what would the purpose be? What would the point be of hiding the title? Seriously, unless the title is the new X-Men, and it turns out all these characters have the X gene and they're all mutants,
right,
and this is the new X-Men. Okay, that would be a surprise. But like, what could possibly surprise the audience in the title? What would the point of that be? Right. So, is it possible? Of course, it's possible. But as I often talk about in poker, when I'm playing poker, I don't deal in possibilities. I deal in probabilities. And the probability of that is very, very low. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Yeah. Even if it's someone was saying New Avengers, Secret Avengers, it's not big enough to change your marketing.
Yeah, I mean, what was the point of hiding that and then say, oh, it's called this? Okay, doesn't change anything. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Anonymous, this Beatles bingeable movie experience makes me think, what will happen if Marvel released episodes of event shows like Daredevil with 2 episodes every 2 weeks at the theaters, besides the weekly release? Could get 30 to 40 million at the box office every 2 weeks.
No, you're dreaming.
No way.
You are dreaming.
Not a chance.
That it would not, nowhere near that.
Not a
it
chance.
would make nowhere near that. First of all, people have always overestimated, even back in the Netflix days, especially in the Netflix days, people have always drastically overestimated how many people actually watch Daredevil. But that's besides the point. It's one of the greatest comic book shows ever. I love it. But Yeah, no, it would not make anywhere near that money. Literally divide that by 10.
I mean,
and maybe you'll be closer, but you'd have to divide that number by 10.
every 2 weeks or whatever. No.
Yeah.
They re-release like movies that are fan favorites, nostalgia, and they make like 1.2 million in re-release. I mean, you know.
Yeah. It just wouldn't do that at all. All right, what's next? But to the bigger picture of the question though.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think this Beatles experiment is going to work, but I love that they're doing it because let's say, for example, this thing does work. It opens up some really interesting possibilities about what studios could do with their release strategies.
Sure.
Again, I don't think it's going to work, but I love that they have the guts to try it, and I'm going to cheer for them that it does work.
You know, I would be so down to like the very first 2 episodes of the next season of House of the Dragon. They released that in theaters on the Friday before the Sunday.
They did that with Game of Thrones.
They've done that.
I would love for them to continue that or do that because seeing like that show on the big screen would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean they've done that for seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, remember Watchers on the Wall and all
not
that?
to huge results.
Oh, okay.
Because again, people know. Oh, I just got to wait 1 week and I'm going to be able to watch.
It was like
TV.
a fan experience. It made some
Yeah,
money,
it was
but
more
it
of a
wasn't.
fan experience, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that. Like, hey, you've already made the show,
Sure.
right? It's not going to be terribly expensive to say, hey, a week early before season 2 or season 3 debuts, we're going to play the first 2 in theaters.
1 day only,
done.
too. It has to be 1 day only.
Yeah, 1 day only.
That could it bringing in some dough a little bit.
It'll make it a little money. I mean, it'll bring in more money than it costs to put them out.
Yeah.
So even if you make $2 or $3 million, it wouldn't be bad. But the novelty of that would wear off real fast. You couldn't do it like every 2 weeks. We're gonna put
No. Just a premiere of every season.
Yeah.
I think.
All right. What's next?
All right. The Flesh Torpedo. Okay. Naked Gun and Spinal Tap 2 release about a month apart. Yeah, I'm hoping both turn up the laughs to 11. Got it. As they were integral to my childhood. What are some of your favorite fictional bands? The Blues Brothers, Dewey Cox are among mine.
We were just talking about one yesterday.
Isn't that Walk Hard? Oh, yeah, the Monkees.
The Monkees is a weird situation, though, that they were a fictional band that kind of became a real band.
Yeah.
But they were formed just for the TV show.
The worst band? Sack Attack.
Oh,
That
God.
was the worst.
Sack Attack. Trying to think other fictional bands.
The Wonders.
Josie and the Pussycats, but I never liked that.
You know what was a great band? The band that they created at the end of Nerds.
Oh,
oh
geez,
my
yeah.
God, I forgot about
The
that.
Tri-Lambs, yeah.
The Tri-Lambs. That one-hit wonders.
Gem and the Holograms.
Oh, the band from Popstar Never Stop.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Guys, if you have not, was that the name of Popstar? No, what was the name of the movie?
It was Popstar.
Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't seen that movie, seriously, third act falls off a little bit, but honestly, overall, the movie is so funny. Stars all the Lonely Island guys. It's so good. Yeah, definitely go check that out. It's pretty damn wonderful.
I'm just glad he's like, I think the last movie he did, I can't think of his name now, but Christopher Guest, was A Mighty Wind, I feel like.
Was that the last one? By the way, Mighty Wind was really good too. Best in Show
Yeah.
was also really
I
good.
love his
Most of the
movies.
same cast as Spinal Tap and stuff like that as well.
I'm probably wrong, but I feel like that was his last.
You know what? Here's the thing. I hate saying it.
Yeah.
I think Spinal Tap's going to flop.
It could.
It's too old. I'm going to see it opening day.
It doesn't have to
I
be
don't know if it's
expensive,
going to do well.
It'll have a low budget. That's what going for it.
All right, what's next?
All right. We got Reggie says another note for sinners. How amazing this film is looking to go down as a slight DeLuca and Abdi loss due to Ryan Coogler retaining all the rights to the film. Personally love Coogler's reasoning for keeping the rights, but it can't be good for them.
It's not uncommon. Like, you can have the rights. That's fine. Like, it happens more often than you think, but he can only make another one with Warner Brothers, right? Like, he's got the rights to the film, yes, and that's not terribly uncommon. But the thing is, the way the contracts work is that, but he can't just run and make the next one with Sony, or then run and make the next one after that with Paramount. It like, there's still contractual obligations. Like, yeah, I got the rights to film, but if I'm going to do it, I have to do it with you. That's not terribly uncommon. And that will, as long as they can make their money on it, this will go down as a win for them. But yeah, this whole thing about the filmmaker still having the rights to the film, again, that's actually not, it's not the normal thing, but it's not that uncommon. All right, what's next?
Yeah. And also he did for your consideration. That was after My Mighty Wind.
Right.
And, yeah, some others. Let's see. We got Hacks is back. Jonathan, please pronounce my name correctly with all the exclamation points. I did my best. Anyway, it's Hacks is back. Is Hacks better than Shrinking?
No.
Those are two comedies that really seem in their own league to me, with maybe the studio busting in rudely this year.
Hacks, I have not watched all of it. I just recently started watching Hacks because it was been winning all these awards, right? So I just recently started watching Hacks. Excellent show. Really good show. It's not in the same league as Shrinking. That is no knock on Hacks. That is not, and it's all personal opinion, obviously. So, but I do not mean that as any sort of a knock on Hacks. Hacks is actually much better than I thought it would be, but I do not put it in the same category as Shrinking. Shrinking is, to me, is on another level. It's just on another level. But that's just my opinion, of course. All right, what's next?
TJ Perry, are we going to see a return of Movie Club for Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts? The Quantumania one was so fun. I definitely attend both if you guys did them.
When you're talking about the live events,
Oh, those are tough to put on.
Yeah, I listen. I still, for those of you who don't know, like, we put on this live event. Did we call it Movie Club? I can't remember what we called it.
But it was like a
like
live for Movie Club. Yeah.
Yeah. So we put on a live event, and I think we did it at, what was the name of the club in Burbank?
Flappers.
Flappers. We did it at this big comedy club in a thing called Flappers, and it was great, sold out. So many of you guys came down to it. It was wonderful. The problem is it's more tricky to put on than you think. It was a lot of effort to put it on. And so we did a second one, and again, it was great. We had a wonderful time. It's just that it's a lot of work to put on. And I continue to have the companies asking me to do it, and they wanted me. I remember last year they asked me, let's take it on tour. We want to have you go and do one in Chicago, and do one in New York, and do one in Denver, and do one in again, I really, here's what it is. I love doing them.
Yeah.
I hate organizing them.
Yeah, it's tough to organize. And
like the day of, show up at the club, get up on stage, and do that thing with everybody.
And
super fun. Love
and we
it.
were live streaming it too, so then I had to monitor it the whole time.
But it was the weeks of trying to put the whole thing together, and that I'm not looking forward to do. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do it again someday before I retire. But there's no plans for one right now. That doesn't mean we won't do another one. I'm just saying there's no plans for one right now.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
We should do a 5-year anniversary for the trailers documentary, though. That would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
Screen it and do a little Q&A after.
Why not? Cool. We can do that virtually. You can do it online.
That's true.
All right, what's next?
Anonymous decided to watch Harry Potter for the first time in 10 years, and the opening scene hit me because those actors are no longer here. Coltrane, Harris Smith. Then later you get to Rickman. It was quite sad. Have you had a similar experience?
No, not really. But I mean, that is, especially with Maggie Smith passing away. I mean, that was really sad. But all of them, like, I remember too watching the Harry Potter anniversary special that they did on HBO Max, which was a great special. Yeah. I'm not a Potterhead, and even I got emotional watching it. But what was particularly sad was when they were interviewing Robbie Coltrane. I think this came out before he died. And he was clearly older, and obviously he wasn't in the greatest of health.
Yeah.
When he did that interview. But he said, a few years from now, I'm not going to be here anymore, but Hagrid will still be here. And then it wasn't long after that I think he passed away. Mm-hmm. And but it is weird. You look back at Harry Potter now, and it's not that old.
No.
But so many, I think the woman who played Malfoy's mom passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Obviously,
Michael Gambon passed in a year after
both,
Robbie.
Both.
Right. Yes, of course.
Dumbledores have passed away. Maggie Smith, Robbie Coltrane. Yeah, it was really sad when you see that, especially for a franchise that's not that old. All right, what's next?
We got about 12 more here. I really want the Pit spinoff following a night shift with Dr. Abbott as the lead character. He had the best line in the Pit season finale. You're in my spot. Perfect way to... It's floating around my face. Perfect way to add humor into a pretty serious moment. The season finale was perfect.
He's a great... Oh, damn it. You know what? I meant to do a review of the Pit season 1 today.
Oh, like in its totality?
Yeah, just because its finale was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I meant to do an overall review of it, and I totally forgot to put it in the show notes. Anyway, the thing about that character is I think he is an awesome supporting character. I don't think he's a lead character. And I think he works much better as a supporting character to the lead. And so, yeah, there's that. Anyway. All right, what's next?
This is interesting. The Milkman says, hey, John and crew, loved your guys' coverage of CinemaCon this year. You have another one under your belt, but I was always bummed about not being able to go myself. So AMC is playing a sneak peek showcase of stuff from CinemaCon. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, somebody asked that last week as well. Apparently, and I didn't know about this, but AMC, and I don't know if it's just AMC or not, but they're going to be putting on a presentation showing, I think, like 90 minutes of stuff from CinemaCon.
It's cool.
I think it's great.
Where are they playing this at?
At AMC Theaters.
Oh, okay.
Theaters,
Yeah. I don't know the details. I don't know the wheres and whens, but I'm sure you can find it out easily enough. And I don't know which stuff they're going to show, because we literally had like 6 major presentations. Each one was between 2 and 3 hours. So there's literally 12, 13, 14 hours of stuff. So I don't know how they're going to curate it, and I don't know how they're going to choose which 90 minutes to show. But I think that's great that they're doing it. I think that's wonderful, because it's really expensive to go to CinemaCon.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tron says, is it fair or foul to call Jack Black a movie star? He quietly has had a string of hits, Jumanji hit films, Super Mario, Kung Fu Panda, Minecraft, Borderlands wasn't his fault. I don't think Minecraft opens to 162 million without his memes. He's not a leading man, but
listen, I say this as a massive Jack Black fan, and you're damn right he's a movie star. Of course he's been a movie star for a long time.
100%.
But yeah, Minecraft, it's not like just put Jack Black's name on something and it opens huge.
Sure.
But that aside, he's an absolute movie star. He's been a movie star. What was the one where he worked in the music store? John Cusack.
That's one of my favorite movies. It's High Fidelity.
High Fidelity. I mean, he's been a movie star ever since that. And then, of course, School of Rock is like an iconic movie. Like, yeah, 100%. Long before Minecraft or the Mario Brothers movie ever came out, Jack Black is an absolute movie star. 100%. All right, what's next?
Hayden says, just watch Severance after hearing its high praise. I loved it. I imagine getting to just binge 2 seasons. I just started the new John Hamm show on Apple TV Plus. I'm really thinking about keeping my subscription. Oh, absolutely. After my 30-day trial, have a great week. For that price point, dude, I recommend keeping it.
I didn't even realize the John Hamm show started airing yet.
I didn't either. I just thought
that's
it was
the one where
soon.
he's a super rich guy, but he loses his job. And to keep up his rich lifestyle and appearances, he starts breaking into his rich neighbors' houses and stealing stuff. It's a great premise. I love the premise. I can't remember the name of the show, but it looks great. Listen, dude, there is so much to watch on Apple TV Plus. So much high quality stuff. Obviously, I'm going to say the next thing you need to watch is Shrinking, but watch Ted Lasso. There's 100 things on there.
You literally could spend the next 6 months just binging most of those shows. And
so much good stuff on it.
Your Friends and Neighbors.
Your friends and neighbors.
Yes.
Yep. All right. But I didn't even know that thing started yet. So I'm excited. I'm going to check that out. All right. What's next?
Okay. A 2-parter here. Theo says, hi, John. I've been watching you since the Man of Steel review when I was 15.
Wow.
Crazy to think that's coming up on 12 years ago. I heard you say on the show a while back that you would retire either before or after new Superman movie. Thinking it might be coming up soon. Do you think you will do a little event or meet and greet?
No.
I've always wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for inspiring me to pursue a career in film.
I mean, we were just talking about the whole live events and stuff like that.
They're hard to put on.
Yeah, those are hard to put on. Now, a simple meet and greet, Yeah, I could see us do not around Superman or anything like that, but
like
I could see us doing another meet and
Comic
greet,
Con,
something like
whatever.
that. Yeah, you know what? That would be a good place to just. And when I say meet and greet, I mean like the most casual of, hey guys,
Yes.
on Saturday afternoon between 1 and 2:30, I'll be at this bar.
Yeah.
Or I'll be at this restaurant.
Yeah.
If you want to come by, say hi, take a picture, something like that. Yeah, absolutely, that'll happen between now and then. But like a specific Superman thing. You know what we did once? Which movie did we do it for again? Where we did one for Batman and we did one for, remember where we booked the whole theater and had
Yeah,
a special
Spider-Man.
screening? What's that?
We did one for Spider-Man.
It was Spider-Man. Was it No Way Home?
It was No Way Home.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe we should do that again soon.
You know what's funny about that? When you guys did that No Way Home one, I didn't realize you had done it, and I was in the Dolby Cinema just
Watching
down the
same
hallway,
movie?
and I didn't realize. Yeah, it's really funny.
Wow, Jonathan. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we should do one of those again soon. Where we book the whole theater in
Those are
Burbank.
cool.
and
Maybe for Superman.
maybe we should do it for Superman. Anyway, keep your ears open. We'll take a look at that. All right, what's next?
John Banger says, do you think Doctor Doom's storyline will conclude after Secret Wars? That would seem rather short compared to Thanos' arc, and it would feel like a waste of a great villain. What are your thoughts?
Wouldn't be a waste of a great villain at all. Like, honestly, like one of the greatest villains considered in all time in cinematic history is Hans Gruber in Die Hard. He was
Yeah.
in one movie. So we're talking about having this villain span over two massive tentpole films. So even if they do conclude at the end of that, it's not, no, that would be great. I mean, having a great villain's a great villain, even if they're only in one film. Thanos was really only in two anyway. Yeah, he did a pop-up cameo in a couple of films, but that was really didn't do anything to move the needle. He was really in two movies. And I think they can do the exact same thing with Doctor Doom for sure. All right, what's next?
Old Danny Boys here. Personally, I won't be that surprised if Thunderbolts does well at the box office. To me, it has the same recipe that Guardians had. Bunch of B-list characters, team movie. Not a guarantee, of course, but still, actually, Guardians, if you go back to when it was released, it was not even B-list. They were no list because no one knew them.
Yeah, very, very few people knew them.
These people have been established in shows and movies.
But as what's a good way to put this? It's one thing to launch a character that is all like never had a movie yet, but is a well-known, popular character and whatever have you. Or is a brand new character, right? Like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. And by the way, Guardians of the Galaxy made 94 million opening weekend.
Which is great.
So it's not like, which was great for what it was, but it's not like it was $175 million opening weekend, right? Made under $95 million opening weekend. But they were all brand new characters.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts have all been on screen as B and C level characters.
Right.
And now it's their movie. And that makes it, I think, even harder than what Guardians of the Galaxy faced. With Guardians of the Galaxy, it was like this brand new thing. These are going to be the new big characters. Thunderbolts, we've already seen them all, and they've all been in secondary or third or fourth level characters. So it's got a lot more it's working against, I think.
Yeah, I do like that that's a major plot point to it, though. They all feel insecure, like...
Yes, 100%.
We're not the guys
It's
you
part of the
call.
reason why I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's just it's going to work against it on its opening weekend, I think. All right, what's next?
Anonymous is high and...
Oh, that's the other, by the way, Bobby in the live chat also raised a great point. When you're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, big stars. Big stars. Especially when you're talking about Chris Pratt and you're talking about Zoe Saldana. I mean, so you had some big stars in there. Not so much with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Although with Chris Pratt, he was only on TV.
But he had already become really popular.
People thought he was going to be like, isn't he out of shape for that? And then he got all fit.
Yeah, it was an interesting casting choice when that happened, for sure. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, hi, in UK, they're showing Star Wars Episode 4 original version. Have you heard of this? And is Disney okay with this?
Well, you can't do it unless Disney okays it. It's
Unless
not
it's
like
some
what? It's not like Disney's going, wait, what? If they're showing it, it's because they got the license to show
unless
it.
they're playing it like some Fight Club or something.
By the way, like Rob and I were just talking about this the other day. There's a screening coming up of like the original print of the original Star Wars. And like, oh my God, that's going to be pretty fun too. All right, what's next?
Slartibart, update on my Minecraft movie birthday from Wednesday. We got the empty theater just to have an entire school bus of middle school children walk in behind us and quoted most of the movie. Were cheering when they mentioned anything and sang along. It was wild.
I would hate that. Unless it's a special screening for that. If I was in watching a movie, like honestly, like I didn't hate Minecraft. I don't think it was all that good, but I didn't hate it. And I go back to see movies multiple times a lot. I was thinking about going to it again.
What?
But
Minecraft?
No, I was thinking about, because so many people seem to like it. So I was thinking about going and watch it again. But hearing about all the bullshit that happens in some of the screenings just kept me from going again. I'm not going to go if people are just going to ruin the movie. So yeah, anyway, that's just me.
Yeah, they should just start doing separate screenings or whatever.
Yeah, if they have a special screening for it, perfectly good. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Future Man, I believe with everything Disney has failed on with Star Wars has been made up with Andor. Without Disney Star Wars, there would have never been an Andor. Anyways, what are you most excited for Andor Season 2 or Last of Us Season 2?
Somebody asked me that exact same question the other day. I will give the slightest of edges to Andor 2. Because I think really they're tied, but one is Star Wars.
And
So
good Star Wars.
Yeah, and like premium best Star Wars ever made since the original trilogy.
Best, bro.
Like, again, you got the original trilogy, nothing's ever going to touch that.
Sure.
But out of all the stuff that's been made in Star Wars ever since, nothing comes close to Andor. Nothing comes close. There have been a few really good Star Wars things that have come out since Return of the Jedi, but nothing comes close to Andor. And so I would say generally Andor Season 2 and Last of Us Season 2 is tied for me, but one is Star Wars, so I will give the nod to Andor. All right, what's next?
Okay, Mega Rad. I have a date tonight, and we're watching Drop together, then dinner after. Should be fun. Well, hopefully you don't get any messages on your phone. And then Warfare tomorrow. Great weekend for movies. What's your favorite thing to do on a date night other than bring on the filthy?
Oh, Jesus.
Mega Rad. We don't talk like that.
Rad.
I mean, it's too open of a question. Like you can do anything. Like my favorite date night is always movie night.
Movie and a dinner.
Movie and dinner. Not dinner and movie then dinner.
You should ask about exes. That usually works pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about your exes. Who was your favorite lover?
Let me see your Facebook and your password.
Yeah, and it all kind of depends because it's like deep into your relationship, dates are different than early in your relationship. You're getting to know each other.
But you know what else is good? I like silly activity like bowling.
Sure.
Something you're both probably terrible at, and it's just a fun excuse to do something while chatting.
Right.
Going to play pool is another one, right? Unless you actually really like pool and you're good at it, don't do that as the date then, because then it just looks like you're trying to show off.
Right.
But if you're something like you're terrible at and like everybody, so those are kind of fun too, but it's too wide open of a question. So I'll just stick with movie and dinner.
Also, meet the parents. It's pretty good on the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Meet somebody's parents. Also, Top Golf, but I would say Top Golf is in the same vein as like bowling.
Because if you're really good at it, it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Or hide in the woods. Hide in the woods to never be found again. That's a good.
Let's play a game of hide in the woods.
Nice to meet you. How would you feel about a rousing game of hide in the woods? Don't let me find you.
How do you feel about grainy photographs?
No, don't take any of these ideas. These are just ideas for our next comedy
Let's
film.
play Trunk Explorer. Go ahead, get on in, see what you find.
Let's play Can You Get Out?
Can you get out?
No, let's play Can You Get Out?
How tinted are my windows?
Red flags you should be looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Red flags.
If a date screams in the forest, can you really hear them?
Dude, this is not.
It's going
All right,
in a
go ahead,
dark place.
Slider bar.
Anyways, we hope you got what you needed from that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, Slider Bar, this is our last of the tips. Just wanted to follow up on my Minecraft comment from earlier. Those kids coming in and cheering actually made every part 10 times funnier than I would have been. Ended up being a really unique and fun time at the movies. If they're just reacting, that's great. If they're talking over it and stuff, then fine. That's bad.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I gotta see it sometime this weekend.
And all right, guys, we've gone over 2 hours today, so we are going to call it. On today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast, thank you so much for being here, guys, on this Friday and joining us for the show. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions, number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about, but number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey, guys, I hope you have a fabulous weekend ahead of you. I'll probably be doing an open mic this weekend. I'll let you know when and where. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Have a good weekend.
Jonathan Voico.
See you Monday.
My name's John Campea, everybody. And until next time, my friends, hide in the woods. Bye-bye.